Dr. Ehrman, just doesn't expect people to check him out. Sadly, the vast majority, 95% of the people that I have had quote Bart Ehrman to me in debate or in dialogue have never read the Gospel of Mark. 95%.
I'm not going to go into too many specific details because I'm not an expert in this area myself. But if you are interested in hearing about some of the many contradictions in the Bible and errors and mistakes and so on, and inconsistencies, if you are interested in that, there is a brilliant book called Jesus Interrupted by Bart Ehrman. This guy is a really interesting read, and I really did enjoy it. I thoroughly recommend it. It's a very easy read as well. It's not challenging, and it not only offers up what some of the inconsistencies are, but offers potential explanations for them, which I think is very interesting. It's great. I'm not going to go into too many specific details because I'm not an expert in this area myself.
Welcome back to Quarantine Apologetics, defending the faith while under lockdown. I'm Allan Ruhl. You just saw a clip, first of James White, saying that pretty much all the enemies, or 95% of the people he talks about the Gospels, and quote Ehrman to him, have never read the Gospel of Mark. And then you saw the atheist YouTuber from England, Rachel Oates, basically confirming what happened. Now, Bart Ehrman is a commentary on our society. He really exposes how lazy we are. Because, again, based on what I said just the other day, when Muslims, and of course there's two groups that love Bart Ehrman, the atheists and the Muslims. And of course they both quote him ad nauseum. And it's just a commentary on how lazy our society is. It's like, oh, I need a reason for unbelief. I need something to justify my unbelief. Oh, look at this book by Bart Ehrman. I can, this is what I do, and I'm satisfied. These people, again, I don't think Rachel Oates has actually cracked the Bible, cracked it open, and studied it for herself. She said she's not an expert. Oh, I'm not an expert. So you got to read Bart Ehrman's bestseller. Of course, as someone who does apologetics, I have to read Ehrman. I have to review his books, because they're going to be used. I deal with the Muslims. The Muslims just eat this guy up. And they just quote him uncritically. And they'll say suppose a contradiction they saw in Ehrman's book. And then you'll solve the contradiction. Then just quote him as authority. Bart Ehrman, Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman is a very, he's... One time James White, I heard James White say this about Bart Ehrman. What he does is scholarly prostitution. And I think that makes sense because he's an academic. He's taught at universities. He's taught New Testament. He knows Greek. So he got to, somehow he got on with Harper One. Although his last book was not with Harper One for some reason. You can go to my website to see the review. And he essentially thought, wow, I can make a lot of money out of this. And his agent probably was reeling in, his publisher, lots of money, because these sales. And of course, I have to, as an apologist, I got to read this garbage. But it's just look at the text with the highest amount of skepticism that you can. It's never given the benefit of the doubt. It's always assumed the worst. And for someone like Rachel Oates, like you saw there, I understand. Technically, she can be consistent and do that, take the lazy way out with Ehrman. But then you got the Muslims who think their text is pristine. It's like contradiction in the Bible. Oh, Ehrman said so, it must be true. Contradiction in the Quran. Whoa. Let me try to solve that. Two different standards. So I just want to talk about Bart Ehrman because he's this whole thing's a commentary on our society. the fact that someone like him can publish these books, and the people that hate God are like, oh, wow, this is what I need. This is what I've needed all along. If you need a good response to a lot of Ehrman's points, read The Case for Jesus by Bart Ehrman. He offers some good criticisms of Ehrman, because, well, let's face it, we need an answer to a lot of this nonsense. So thank you, Bart Ehrman, for writing that book. I've also reviewed another book by Bart Ehrman. It was this one. This by Bart Ehrman too. So Jesus and the Jewish Roots of Mary and Jesus and the Jewish Roots of the Eucharist. So read as much Bart Ehrman as possible, including this book, which is a response to the shallow, pathetic scholarship of Bart Ehrman and the very lazy people who use his writing. God bless.
Now, with the doctrine of the New Testament, now I want to show you some of the books that I use. I'm just going to show them to you, and you can write these down. This one has just been published, and it is a gem. It is a gem. I always pray, and I ask everyone to pray for the guidance of Bart Ehrman. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may He guide Bart Ehrman, inshallah ta'ala, because the evidence that he has done against the Bible is man, he lays it on so thick. I mean, he lays it on thick as it can get, man. Drinking Bart Ehrman's coffee and drinking everyone else's coffee is the same like going and drinking down this watered Kinko coffee than some good Algerian coffee, some good Turkish coffee. It's really thick how he lays it on, and this book, and actually I know him very well. He lives not far from where I was born and raised. And I got this book before it ever hit the press, and it's amazing. It's called Jesus Interrupted. Jesus Interrupted. The hidden contradictions in the Bible and why we don't know about them. Jesus Interrupted. And a lot of stuff is going to come from here. And I'll give you the table of contents. He talks about, his first chapter is a world of contradictions. He doesn't say a group of words, he says there's a world of contradictions. Also a mass of variant views, which I'm going to explain to you. Also, who wrote the Bible, which is kind of a sarcastic way he's saying it because we don't know. Then he says liar, lunatic, or Lord, finding out the historical Jesus. Because if you read different documents, they say different things about Jesus. How we got the Bible, and he says who invented Christianity. That's what this book is about. Called Jesus Interrupted. And you can get this... I don't know. Do you guys have Barnes & Noble in the UK? What is the major bookseller? Amazon. Get it from Amazon. Amazon, you can get it very cheap. Amazon, you get it very cheap. This is his latest book. And I'm in my third time reading it. The first major book that he wrote that I read, that he gave to me, is called Misquoting Jesus. The story behind who changed the Bible and why. It's called Misquoting Jesus. The story behind who changed the Bible and why. And he gives evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence. If you read these two books, you would know more than I could teach you in 6 months. You would know more than I could teach you in 6 months. Believe me. And the table of contents for this one is just as thick. The beginnings of Christian scripture, the copyist of early Christian writings, the text of the New Testament, editions, manuscripts, and differences, the quest for origins that matter, theologically motivated alterations of the text of the New Testament, the social world of the text, conclusion, how we changed scriptures. And this is not some crackpot. This is a professor of textual criticism at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and he is a graduate of he's a doctorate of theology from Princeton University. This is not some fool.